2, 3. Guys, welcome back to the podcast. It's your host, Will O'Connor. We're here for another episode of the Pulse Check. We're here, episode 71. We're coming a long way. And today's question is, what is Origin? We've got a lot to cover this week. We've got NRL to talk. We've got Magic Round recap. We've got our Round 12 predictions, a major buy round. We've got Origin team lists. We've got to talk about how last week I talked about why Jamal Fogarty should be the starting halfback for Queensland. Billy Slater has not gone with that. We will talk about that. And then actually to end on the podcast, we're going to talk about what some of you guys had to think about these Origin selections. There was a few comments. I put out an Instagram story, and a few of you, or a couple of you, just gave me your thoughts, and absolutely loved what you thought. And they're 100% true, and I'm keen to have a little look at them and talk about them on the podcast. So you might be noticing I am only wearing the What's Not Sports merch hat. And look, no What's Not Sports t-shirt. And no Raiders shirt, because, well, the Raiders, they did win the 2 points. But they didn't beat a team. Well, they beat the bye round. But just shout out to the Bunnings team. We're really rooting for you guys, and I thought I would just show my diversity in rugby jerseys. So that's why I'm wearing this. So before we get into the podcast and all of that, I've just found out today and tonight that Jai Arrow has medically retired from the sport of NRL, rugby league, and it's due to him having motor neuron disease. This is absolutely heartbreaking and shattering. It ends his NRL career. He's an Origin great. I can just remember growing up and watching him being in the Origin side, being such a key player. From what I see, he's just an outstanding bloke. And to just hear this awful news, my heart goes out to him, goes out to his family, and I hope they can support him and give him the best quality of life. Hopefully, there is no cure, but hopefully it doesn't. I don't even know how to say this. Hopefully, Jai he still has a long life and still has a quality life in that as well. And just sending him all our love and best wishes and things like that. So just wanted to, because it is a serious thing and it is absolutely heartbreaking, and you don't wish that on anyone. So it's horrible. So now that we've talked about that, that was heavy, and it is sad, but I just thought it was important to address. But now we've talked about that, let's talk about sports and what we love before we dive into our more NRL stuff. So just to tick off a few things, there has been more news about the Guardians League. Now, some of you listeners, if you don't know Surf Life Saving, you won't even get that. So next week or the week after, maybe after Origin season, I don't know, there will be an episode where we deep dive, and maybe we have someone else on. When I've got the studio set up, we have someone from Clubbies and we talk about the Guardians League, and see what our thoughts are on that, because I do have a lot of thoughts and opinions on that, and let's, I guess, hear your thoughts on that too and discuss that. This Sunday, the Enhanced Games takes off, and it'll be interesting. What will we see? Will we see world records broken? Or will it all just be a dismal performance, to say the least, or whatever? What will actually come from it? I don't know. So it'll be very interesting. I'm actually excited. I probably won't watch it because I'll probably be at work, but I'm excited to see what happens, if that makes sense. And keep on track of it. Like, I've been watching James Magnuson on his journey through it. I do think it's a really cool idea. I just find it also so interesting. Cam McAvoy's just recently very recently in the last couple of months broken the world record for the 50-meter free. So do we even see it broken by an enhanced athlete? That'll be the question, and that'll be very interesting. So, like I said, I'm very intrigued by this topic. So I'll talk about it a bit more when we have the results of it on Sunday. I think that's all I've got in other sporting news. I feel like I had something else, but I forgot and I didn't write it down. So, yeah, it didn't make it past the drawing board. But let's jump into the NRL now. Let's talk about Magic Round. It looked like a huge success. I am disappointed that I didn't get down there this year, even though it was a protest against my team, the Raiders, having the bye. I just think that's disgraceful. The minor premiers, first of all, they are the minor premiers, so you cut them out of probably the biggest weekend of NRL. The biggest weekend of NRL. You cut the minor premiers from that. Cool. So you do all the hard work last year and you don't even get to see like a cool result or something like that. Or the fans that you grow up in Queensland or just who come out for it, you don't even get to see that. So they just enjoy a week off, I guess, which is a bit disappointing. Like last year, they had one of the most, well, let's just say it, the Raiders are one of the most exciting teams in the comp, and there is no doubt about that whatsoever. And I think it's unfair that they didn't get in. I think that if you get the wooden spoon, you miss out on Magic Round, and that's how it should be. I've had people go, oh, but they've already gotten the wooden spoon. That's a bad enough. Well, you lost the comp. Like, what do you get otherwise? Like, you want special treatment? Like, no, you shouldn't miss out on something, and you should miss out on the biggest weekend of NRL for your dismal performance for a whole season. So that's my thoughts on that. You can tell me no, but I'll disagree, and I'm more than happy to fight on that, and I stand on that. And if you don't like that, that's cool, and that's your opinion. But to have one of the most exciting teams in the comp, and they had probably the most exciting game last year at Magic Round. It was the last game on the Sunday, and it was a fantastic game. You can't tell me it wasn't. It went to Golden Point, and it was in the rain. It was great footy, and then you just want to cut that out from Magic Round completely. See, like I don't think that's fair on the Raiders. And yes, I'm obviously biased because I am a Raiders fan, but a lot of people also agree with me. Like, it's absolutely stiff that that's happened. But what do I know? I'm just a crazy guy that has a podcast. But let's jump in now. Magic, it did look like an awesome success though, and it looked like fun. And I am jealous I didn't actually embrace it and go down anyway. But next year we'll be there, 100%. Next year I'll be there, and I want to make sure of that. So I guess book the tickets now. I don't know. On exciting things, just stay tuned in the next couple of weeks because there is something very exciting happening very, very soon for the What's Not Sports podcast. And I guess it just reminded me that tickets are booked for it, and you might not know what it is. I do. You might know about it. You might not. But when it comes out and when I announce it, it'll be very cool. It'll be very, very cool. Now, back to Magic Round. Let's jump in. There were some absolute blowout games. I honestly don't even think there were any, any not like maybe. Let's get the scores up. Yeah, there was one close game all weekend. Oh, that's actually so disappointing for the sport. And that honestly, that's actually the results from the weekend. Oh, I didn't even think of this. I'm gonna do this now. The results from the weekend is actually just sad, and we'll talk about it in a second. When was Magic Round last year? I think it was the first weekend of May. Yes, it was. Okay. Let's run through who won and then we'll go through everything. So, Sharks vs Dogs, I had the Dogs tipped. The Sharks pumped them. South vs Finns, I had South picked because I thought they were in good form and they just weren't. And the Finns, who are in good form, who I watched recently live, who are in good form, I decided to pick against. They got the win, smashed them. Tigers versus Manly, I picked Manly, got that one right. They smashed the Tigers. Roosters versus Cowboys, I really wanted to pick the Cowboys because they had been in good form. They got very unlucky against Parramatta the week before. But I thought Tommy Dearden out, they might not have a chance. The Roosters, so I tipped the Roosters. I was so happy to see that. That was the happiest. I think one of the happiest times I've been happy to get a tip wrong. The Cowboys being the Roosters, that was fantastic. And yeah, Cowboys, Jake Clifford just doing good work. He's doing good work. I'm honestly surprised that Sam Walker got the call over Jake Clifford, but we can talk about that in a second. Parramatta versus Storm. Storm pumped them. Warriors versus Broncos. The Wars pumped the Broncos, and Panthers versus Dragons. What do we expect? A huge blowout game. Not quite as huge as what we expected, but a bit of a blowout nonetheless. But I'm actually very disappointed in this game. It actually broke my heart a little bit, to be honest. And you might be going, what are you talking about? Well, the Dragons for the first half were very strong, and they actually looked very good, and they had a lot of possession of the ball, a lot of possession in the opposition 20. So on the offense, a lot. They just couldn't execute scoring. But the try that they did score got disallowed. And honestly, if like the roles were reversed, and if Nathan Cleary did this, for example, the commentary box would have been going off. Vossi would have been, they would have been just going off. They would have been going, Nathan Cleary just did something that only the GOAT could ever do, and that's why he is the greatest player of all time. Damien Cook, last play of the half, out from dummy half. Not a little chip and chase, it is a big chip. He chases it down, it's on the ground, it's bouncing. Ryan Toto, he's back, he's kind of in that fullback role. Is about to pick it up. Damien Cook has chased his own kick, soccers it, kicks it off the ground, goes in the in-goal area, and he scores. Somehow, the bunker decided that Brian Toto had possession of the ball when he clearly didn't, and the try was disallowed. See, that would have given a lot of momentum and confidence to the Dragons going into the halftime break, going, oh, we're actually in with a shot here. We're only down by 6 points. And we just saw this awesome try. We got a bit of confidence. We're playing good. But no, the refs and bunkers are against us. Like, that's literally what it has to be at this point. Like, how do you go into the sheds like that at halftime and go, honestly, that should be a try? The NRL has come out and said to both the Penrith Panthers and St. George Illawarra Dragons that should have been a try. It should have been a try. The bunker was wrong and made the wrong call. Maybe there is a curse on the Dragons and it just can't be lifted. That's what I'm thinking at this point. Like, at this point, like, the Dragons, what else can they do? Because when they score, it's disallowed. And when they score a legit try, it's disallowed. And I honestly feel for you Dragons fans, but at the same time, I don't. That's my spiel on that. Now, let's have a look at the draw we had and the game. So, we talked about the Sharks and Bulldogs. So, oh, by the way, I only got 50% of my tips bad. Not good, but not awful. So, we're sitting mid-range, which is about right. But we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blowout games out of the 8. So, Sharks pumping the Bulldogs by winning by 22 points. Same with the Rabbitohs Dolphins. Dolphins beating them by 22 points. The Manly game, beating them by nearly 30, beating them by 28 points. Beating the Tigers by 28 points. A team that 4 weeks ago we were going, oh, they're in contention of that top 4. They're going to be a real threat. And a team at the start of the season sacked their coach because they lost 3 in a row and it was not going well. The Roosters Cowboys game. the only exciting game. Yawning about it because like Magic Round, like being there would have been so much fun, but watching teams just get pumped, that's kind of boring. You want exciting footy. The Eel Storm game, 26 points. That's how 34-8, 26 points the difference. The Titans vs Knights. That game is like they won by 24 points a Knights, and then the Panthers Dragons 28-6. A lot closer than what a lot of people thought, including myself. There's only 2 games in there that the winning team didn't score 30. We talked about the magic number 30. If you don't score 30, the other team will. And for 6 out of the 8 games, that's the case. Penrith, 2 points off 30. So you get my gist. I think 28's the magic number. No, it's definitely not, actually. I take that back. I did the math wrong. No, 30 is the magic number pretty much, and -2 plus whatever. That's how many points you got to be scoring to win a game these days. Let's go back to last year at Magic Round. So we had, just to clarify, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. 7 games where teams won by 20 points or more. Last year, the Sharks Eels, 28-18, only 10 points difference. Roosters Dolphins, 36-26, 10 points difference. Bunnies vs Knights, 30-4, Knights won that one. So that's an absolute thrashing. That's one thrashing. Less than 12 points is not a thrashing in my book. If the difference is 12 points, that is not a huge margin, because the whole game could be just a team up by 6 and it's really close the whole time, and then they just happen to break through at the end and score another try and convert it. So 10, 12 points, I don't think is crazy. The Warriors-Cowboys game, 30-26, very close. The West Tigers-Dragons game, 34-28, very close, just a try in it. There were 2 more blowout games. Titans vs Bulldogs, 18-38. Bulldogs got the win there, so 20 points difference. Panthers, Broncos, 32-8. That's a thrashing. And then the Storm Raiders game, Raiders got the win there, 20-18. So there were 3 games that were blowouts where teams won by 20 points. That's a third, roughly just over a third of the games, which, if you're staying under half, I think that's okay. But on the flip side, there were 2 games that were only a try in it or less. So 4 points or less. 2 games of that. There was only 1 game. So double the amount of close games there in the fact of a try or less. And then you go 3 other games where it's 10 points or less. So there's 5 games that are very close, 10 points or less in it. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 games that team scored 30 points. Yeah, that's right. Similar, but the team scoring 30 points, 3 of them out of the 5, it was 10 points or less in it. It was an absolute blowout. That's just a comparison I'm having, what has happened to the game. Let's stop talking about that. Let's move on to... I've rambled on that for about 10 minutes. I apologise. Let's ramble on into round 12. Round 12 is a major bye round. We've only got 5 games this week. We then have Origin next week, and then a minor bye round, and then back to normal, and then major bye round, Origin, which is a minor bye round, and then normal, and like that repeats that cycle. But let's jump into it. We'll go through who's playing. Raiders, Dolphins, Dragons, Storm, both of them Thursday and Friday night, 8 o'clock games. Saturday is the Dragons versus Warriors, Manly versus Titans, and then Sunday is Cowboys versus Souths. I genuinely think I can go 5 for 5 tips here. Maybe. Raiders versus Dolphins at GIO, Canberra. The weather's getting cold. It's going to be really cold down there. The Dolphins aren't used to that. The Dolphins are probably the most impacted team for Origin this year. That's my opinion. But no Hammer, no Selwyn Cobbo, Max Plath, Tommy Flegler. We'll go into the team list later, like I said we would. But I'm just pointing out, you have not Tom Gilbert, sorry. 4 players out. You got Max Plath, you've got Tom Flegler, you got Hammer, and you got Selwyn Cobbo. You got 4 players out, and 4 of their best. And that's for Origin. They're out for Origin, so that's the quality of players that they're missing out on this week. That's where I think the Raiders will utilise. But in saying that, we're missing Ethan Strange and Hudson Young. Hudson Young being the best second rower in the comp at the moment, and Ethan Strange, obviously just the talent they call him. So blows there, but Dane Laurie fills in at 6. We have been able to manage games and win games without Hudson Young this season when he was off with suspension. So we know we've got some depth there. Jordan Uda debuts. Our boy, Xavier Savage is back. Now, hear me out. And I want you to hear. We're going to talk about the Origin selections later, but Jojo Fafita playing on the wing. We've got the tallest wingers combo, so we'll be aerial threats this Origin. But Jojo Fafita, I don't think has been playing outstanding footy. It's a pick. It's an outside of the box pick from Billy. That's what we need. But we see some good work this week and next week and the week after. Do we see Xavier Savage get a call up for game 2 or game 3 if he outperforms the wing? Let's find out. So I'm tipping the Raiders out, obviously. Dogs versus Storm. Storm hit a little bit hard with Origin selection, as they usually are. Obviously, no Munster, no Grant playing for Queensland, no Trent Leora. Who else are they missing out on? I think that's it. Yeah, that's who they're missing out for Origin this year. So still, Jerome Hughes is still in playing this weekend. The Dogs, who knows what the Dogs are doing? The Dogs are just trash, to be honest. So I think Storm gets to win there. They're starting to actually have a patch of purple form. Pun not intended. They'll get the win there. Dragons versus Warriors. I don't even have to explain myself. The Warriors by a million. Yes, Tanner Boyd. Oh, it breaks my heart to see him have an ACL injury. This is what I forgot to mention. The Wars. What is up with the Broncos and the Wars and their sevens doing their ACLs? Last year when they faced off, I think it was August, Luke Metcalf playing the Broncos does an ACL. As 7, in incredible form, career best form as a 7, and then bang, ACL injury, bye-bye, see you next season. Tanner Boyd, in career best form, honestly was a genuine pick for 7 for Origin. He had a genuine chance. Plays the Broncos, does his ACL. Goodbye NRL season, see you next year, probably. And just with the whole Luke Metcalf situation and now him asked for an early release, will we see him step into the side next week? Well, actually, teamless are out. Let's have a look. I'm so sorry for the yawning, guys. I am currently filming this at 9:30 at night because I have been unprepared for the podcast and realised I need to get it out. Martin's starting at half back, so no Metcalf. So yeah, what happens there? While we're on the Metcalf situation, the Dragons also they're starting Sewer in the centres. Is that what I saw? Yep, Jaden Sewer is playing in the centres. That's ridiculous. But yeah, like this week the Wilders are missing Tanner Boyd, Mitchell Barnett, and Kurt Capewell. Like great players, but I think they're too good to lose. But on the Dragons next season they could become a threat. Keon's going there, Scotty Drinkwater, and then you got Lukey Metcalf. It's looking up for the Dragons. Let's move on. Manly versus Titans. Manly to pump the Titans. I'm sorry, there's no way around about it. Like there's no beating around the bush. Cowboys versus South. Cowboys will win that, especially with Jake Clifford staying in and the performance they put up, like last week against the Roosters to get the win there. Without Tom Dearden, they won't have any issues against South. Bang, done. Origins here. Let's get into it. That was a whirlwind. Let's start off with the New South Wales side so we can get that out of the way and then we can get some Queensland spirit into us. Rightio. Here we go. Lock in. For fullback for the Blues, we've got James Tedesco on the wing, Brian To'o and Kohler on the other wing. Brian To'o pairing with his best mate, Stephen Crichton. Tony Staggs returning to Origin after a while. It's been a long time. We know how much of a deadly centre he is. Probably I'm really, honestly, if I'm New South Wales supporter, I'm going, yeah, Staggs is a great pick for us. I'd be happy with that. Mitch Moses and Nathan Cleary in the halves together. Surprise, surprise. Honestly, drop Mitch Moses and put Ethan Strange there if you want to win it. But, I won't tell you how to win an Origin because, we didn't win 8 in a row or anything. No, we don't know about winning. Forwards, AFB, Adam Fanua-Blake with the new rule change, eligibility change. We see him debut for Origin. Reece Robinson, hooker, Mitch Barnett, call up again. He's in good form. Hudson Young and Hamor Olakawatu, they're your second row. Obviously, Hudson Young was getting a start. He's the best second row in the comp. I think this will be huge for him to see what he's like at proper rep footy. The fact that he's always come off the bench and he's a player that does take risks, but 8 out of 10 times the risks work and they pay off exponentially. But he hasn't had the time in Origin to be able to make those risks and have success from them. So I've always really felt for him in Origin on that stage. So him getting the start, very happy with that for him. Not so much as a Queenslander. And then starting lock, Isaiah Yeo, he's captaining the team. 14, Cameron Murray. I don't get why I have him on the bench. You either start him or you don't play him, I think. Victor Radley, same thing. Eligibility rules means he can play Origin now. Why? Why would you put him in the side is my question. Jacob Safidi, also eligibility rules. And then Blake Brayley rounding that usual bench. But the bench, it's extended to 19 men now. So with the 6-man bench, so Ethan Strange there as 18th man and Casey McLean at 19th man, or Casey Maguire if you're Laurie Daly, who's got no idea what's going on at all, and then Dylan Lucas at 20. That's your New South Wales Origin squad. Is Laurie Daly crazy? Most likely, yes. Is New South Wales going to win? No. Is Laurie trying to do an out-of-the-box move by Billy? Maybe. Is Laurie smart enough to do that? I don't think so. But we'll see. Now let's jump over to the Origin side. the Queensland Origin side, I should say, my favourite side. A lot of surprises in this, but let's go through it anyway. Fullback, we got KP, Kalen Ponga. On the wing, Selwyn Cobbo paired with Robert Toya. On the other side, we got the Hammer playing in the centres. Awesome, love him in the centres, especially when he's got a quick winger on the outside in Jojo Fafita. I think it was a bit out there putting Jojo Fafita in there. I know Selwyn Cobbo, I didn't pick him in my team list last week. But he has been good, to be honest. I kind of overlooked it, and I've gone back. I realised I made a mistake, and yeah, he is going to step up for Origin and just be a great player, do all the hard, dirty work. And I think we'll see a lot of tries scored out of the Hammer and Jojo Fafita's side. Like Hammer and Valentine Holmes, I feel like I've struggled a little bit when Hammer's played centre and Val was on the wing, because like Hammer makes a break at centre, Val getting a bit old, doesn't have the wheels he used to keep up with Hammer. And then when they swapped in game 2 and Hammer was on the wing and Val was in the centres, I like that a lot more. But you put Hammer back in the centres, he makes a break, and then you got Jojo Fafita, quick boy. I think we score a lot of tries on that side, and I think that's actually very good work from Billy. And then if it's kick game, I think we're kicking over to Cobbo's side, and that'll be game. Like, that's end game. We got the aerial assault. Like, our halves, Cameron Munster, Sam Walker. Devastated about Jamal Fogarty, honestly, but bit of Alfie Langer in Sam Walker. If you know, you know. And look, he can deliver. I think we'll see. If he doesn't, Jamal comes in, and we go win the series in Melbourne and in Brizzy. Forwards, Tommy Flegler, bit of an out there, like family bleeds Origin, like, but he probably hasn't been in the best form of his life. That's okay. But Origin, far out. Sorry, I keep yawning, guys. Origin, I just don't know. Harry Grant, like, who else are you gonna pick? Like, Tino. Those are your two props. Tino always lifts for Origin. Ruben Cotter on the edge with Kurt Capewell. We saw big Kurt Capewell. He earned his spot last year in that game 3. He really stood up after getting that recall, and maybe Billy's going off that. We see a big step up. And honestly, if that's the case, I can't hate it, because if he does step up, it's huge. Billy looks like a genius, and in Billy we trust, and that's what we do. We do trust in Billy. Ruben Cotter, I probably would have had him on the bench if I'm not playing him in the front row, and sub him out. But that's just me. But in Billy we trust. And then Max Plath at lock, starting lock, crazy. But on the bench, Brenton Nickera. So it looks like Harry Grant will be playing, I think, a full 80 minutes at hooker, which is what he does. But then got Lindsay Collins, Patrick Carrigan, and Trent Leora. That rounds out the usual 4, and then the extended bench. Well, not extended bench anymore, but you know what I mean. 18th, 19th man, Ezra Mam and Gemmet Shibasaki. And to round out our 20th man, Finafakui. I can't pronounce his name. It's going to need more practice. If I can get Mark Nawaqanitawase, I can get that. So that's the Origin teams. Laurie's crazy. We're going to win. In Billy we trust, and trust in Billy we do. Now, to finish off on the Origin topic, we are going to have a look at what you guys. So on Monday, earlier in the week, put up a little story and just went thoughts on Origin team list. I want to hear both sides. We got a couple of responses, just 2 good responses. And look, one of them, New South Welshman, he brings up some great points. For New South Wales, they're missing Ford, May, and Twal. Now, Twal, knee injury, he's coming back around 13th, like they've got the bye around 12. Would he have been back and ready to go for Origin? You don't know. Terrell May, he doesn't get the call up because of what happened last year. That's all I'm going to say. That's what's going on in that space. No Ford. No Jackson Ford. I'm sorry, New South Wales fans. I've got no answer for you. He should be in that side. He's been the best in the front row. Why? Why Laurie said he can't play edge when he spent more games on the edge than in front row baffles me. Very crazy. So I've got no answers for you there. I am agreeing that is ridiculous that Laurie has left them out. For Queensland, like Saxon, you're right. This is from Saxon Coates. Niche, if you understand this. But no Clifford or Walsh. Yes, no Walsh pick did surprise me because I did think Walsh would be starting fullback and then Ponga on the bench at 14. That was my original thoughts. Obviously, that's not the case. Clifford, after his performance on the weekend and against Sam Walker, I was like, Clifford, man, he's put them to the sword and it looks like he's our front man. That's what I was thinking after watching that Roosters-Cowboys game. They've been snubbed. Like all those boys from both teams, like Terrell May, Jackson Ford, Alex Swall, they've been snubbed from New South Wales Origin, and then Walshy and Clifford, like I think they've been. I also agree with that. I think Jamal's the one that got snubbed the most, to be honest, but that's just my opinion. And then Saxon, you also just said, what is Shibasaki gonna do, bro? I think he's just gonna sit on the bench. I think for this Origin, he just sits on the bench, and that's all we see unless a winger gets injured, and then we see shit. Like even like obviously if a centre gets injured, he comes in and replaces him, like there. But also if a winger comes in, I think like you shift Hammer to the wing and then put, like you reshuffle that way. You don't put Gammon on the wing. So yeah, look, that's. Like, yeah, I absolutely agree with those comments, and yeah. And then Rory, our mate Rory, also commented on this, and he said, Plath at 13 crazy. Off the bench as a utility, either hooker or in the middle. Somewhere around that. And I absolutely agree. Plath starting at 13 is insane, starting at lock. Honestly, it should have been Corey Horsburgh if we weren't going to start Carrigan at lock. But yeah, look. I agree, confuses me, but Billy, outside the box thinker, we know that, and obviously there's a plan, and we'll watch it unfold next week on Wednesday, but more to talk about that. Then, I think, just to point out, Corey Horsburgh, my guy, I thought he was going to make the side, but he must have pissed off Billy. But, yeah. Now, that's all I've got. We're at 37 minutes. I just want to mention, a week ago, a bit longer now, I posted the day one of fixing up the What's Not Sports studio. We have had some ordered equipment. Don't fall on me. We have had some ordered equipment arrive today, and that's going to start the initiation process of actually fixing up the studio. So, more content probably next week on that. I don't think this week. I'll probably start working on it this week. I don't think I'll post anything about it. You'll just have to wait and see, because the studio's a mess. I got to clear up things. I got things to do, and just don't have the time to do it. But we will. But guys, I'm pumping out these pods just because I love it. It's fun. I'll try and stay on the content on the socials. A little bit tricky at the moment. End of semester for uni, getting a bit tricky there. Got some few other things. Training starting to ramp back up. If you're a clubby, you know how it feels. But yeah, but once uni's done, uni break, we will be absolutely working on the pod almost full time. But guys, that's it. Thanks for listening to the What's Not Sports podcast. This is the Pulse Check, and I'll see you next week in the next episode.